What is up, guys, and welcome to a pre-training camp edition. Yes, training camp is just a few days away. Finally, there's going to be some legitimate news to talk about, but a pre-training camp edition of Q&A. So I can't wait to jump into your questions, and we're going to start with questions from Twitter. And if you want to ask questions on Twitter, please follow me on my Twitter handle at QnC, at KWEN_C. Follow me there. Ask me questions on there 5 days out the week. I'm going to answer and have fun with that. But with that being done, let's jump into the questions. And we're going to start with a Twitter question. And this Twitter question is from Wolfman1226, who says, do you think it's fair that people get free training camp tickets and then turn around and sell them? I have the lowest opinions of people who do this, who actively take something that is supposed to be free for fans that maybe they can't afford to get to the stadium, especially this year with how high demand the tickets are. Maybe they can't work into their schedule to go to a preseason game. Maybe there are other things in their way, but they can find a day to get to training camp because that happens throughout the week. And it's a way to get up close and personal with the Browns players without having to pay so much money. And it just kills me that there are people willing to exploit that system for profit, who are willing to take tickets that they know they have no intention on using themselves and sell them for ridiculous. I've seen 30, 40, 200, 300. And I just want you to know, if you're one of those people who are watching this video, you are ruining it for everybody. Just know, if you're selling your training camp ticket that you got for free for $200, you are ruining this for everybody. This is exactly why teams are going to start closing off practices, and they're going to not allow predatory things like this to happen to their fans, because a few, and excuse my language, but a few assholes want to take advantage of a system meant for people to be able to see the team who can't normally see the team. That is just sick. That is sad. I don't have a high opinion of those people. And honestly, if any of those people watch this channel, they can go. Because this channel isn't for Browns fans who want to scam and take that away from other Browns fans. This channel isn't for NFL fans who want to scam and take experiences away from little kids and families so they could sell a ticket for $200. This channel is not for those who want to exploit. If that's you and you don't want to acknowledge how awful that is, then fine. Don't watch this channel anymore. I don't like people who do that. I don't have a high opinion of people who do that. And I think that's one of the scummiest things a NFL fan could do. To take a free training camp ticket that we know why they make that thing free and open to the public. And to take that and exploit people out of it. It's just, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate everything about it. And I'm not normally one to knock a hustle, but this kind of hustle is just shameful. I'm going to reiterate again. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I'm very passionate about this. If you decided you're going to take Browns training camp tickets, free Browns training camp tickets, and sell them for, especially those people who are selling it for $200 and $300. That's who I'm really speaking to. Those people who want to truly exploit the system. I don't really have a problem with somebody who might have bought a training camp ticket, does not know if they can make it, but if they can't go, maybe they can go $5 for the gas that they had to drive the ticket or whatever you had to do. Like, you know, if it's a reasonable $5 thing, like whatever, you're not really profiting off of that. It's $5. But if you're somebody who is buying bulks of these tickets and selling them each for like $100 and $200, you are scum on the earth. You are the worst NFL fan possible. And you are the reason, mark my words, in 5 years, we won't be able to go to training camp because people like you. So stop it before it happens, because I don't want that to be the life of an NFL fan. I have a nephew who I would love to be able to take the training camp, but if people like you keep going on, that won't happen. So please, stop it. Okay, so next question is from Bad Von, who says, what rookie do you think won't make the team? I would say Donnie Lewis, the 7th round pick this year. I don't think he's going to make the team just because he's a 7th round pick. He's probably going to make the practice squad. Has good size at 6 foot. but it's just a really crowded defensive back room, so I don't really see where his fit is. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was somebody who got cut and put on the practice squad. The next question is from Zasi12, who says, if this season were to flop, what would be the most likely reason as it sits right now? If the season were to flop, I would think the most likely reason would be either, let's knock on some wood here. But a injury to Baker Mayfield would probably kill the season, or if this offensive line is not able to be credible. I think either of those things can kill the season. If Baker's not able to get time to use his threats on offense, that is definitely going to hamper the offense. And if Baker's just not there, with Drew Stanton and Garrett Gilbert, I just don't think that, that's going to be a playoff combination. So I would say either of those two things happen can severely tank this season. The next question is from YouTube, and this is from the user The Catster, who says, which coaches around the league would you think could be fired if they have a disappointing season? I have 3 coaches. I'm going to go over the reason very briefly. Cliff Kingsbury. Now, I know he's a first-year head coach, but Cliff Kingsbury was a terrible head coach in college. Cliff Kingsbury was a terrible head coach in college, never did anything of note at Texas Tech, and now he's a NFL coach. So I don't think this is beyond the territory of getting fired in 1 year. He could prove to be extremely incompetent, extremely dysfunctional, and the Cardinals are a functional enough organization that they will move on from him if he's that bad in a year and just take the hit that they're going to take in the media, because Cliff Kingsbury might prove not to be worth that second year. The next guy is Doug Marrone, a guy who had a great success 1 year, went to the AFC Championship, came really close to making the Super Bowl and beating Tom Brady's Patriots, but this team has greatly disappointed since then. And with Nick Foles being on as big as a contract as he does, and me not having a lot of faith on Nick Foles, I don't think that the Jaguars season is going to turn out any differently than it did last year. And if that happens, Doug Marrone most certainly will have to go. And the next guy is another guy from that same postseason, I believe, and that's Mike Zimmer. Again, he had a good season about a couple years ago, but this team has invested a ton of money on a quarterback, and that's going to be a theme. When a team invests a ton of money on a quarterback, especially a veteran quarterback, they're going to expect wins right away. Mike Zimmer already didn't win right away with Kirk Cousins. If they don't win again this year, Mike Zimmer could easily be out of there. The next question is from the Vault Dweller, who says, who do you think the Browns' toughest matchup is and why? The Browns' toughest matchup is going to be the New England Patriots, because they're the New England Patriots. They're the bar. I don't care who has what record in the AFC. As long as the Patriots look like they're going to make the playoffs, they're the bar. You got to get through Brady, you got to get through Belichick, and you got to beat that Hall of Fame tandem that not many have before. So I think that is absolutely the toughest matchup, and it's a matchup that could come back to hurt the Browns, because if the Browns do hope to get far in the playoffs and possibly make a Super Bowl, it's probably going to mean going through New England. And teams that play New England twice don't necessarily have that great of a record against them, but this will be the barometer. This game against New England right after a bye, I think it's going to be very, very important, and it's going to be very tough for the Browns. The next question is from Terry Layer, and it is a long one, and they say, what is up, Quincy? First! Exclamation point, exclamation point. My question is, who do you think is your picks of surprise players that might sneak their way onto the 53-man roster, and is there a chance we pick up Eric Berry? I personally hope so. I think there's no chance they pick up Eric Berry. If they didn't do it already, I just think it's not happening. But as far as a surprise player, I'll have one. I'm going to actually do a video on this concept, so there's going to be a lot more to come. But the guy I'm going to go with is Damon Shealy Gillespie. I just don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's the guy who talked his way onto the training camp roster. And I have him there because he's very athletic, very talented individual, and he's able to return punts and kicks, which is something that the Browns are going to need. And they can have him kind of be dedicated to that role. So I think he's a guy to watch during camp. He's going to be exciting to watch, I think, if he can play a preseason game. And I think he's going to be somebody who could eventually compete for that return role. The next question is from Justin Wyatt, who says, love your show, man. Watch everything you put out, bro. Everybody thinks we're going to hit bumps on the way, which I disagree. We may lose a few games, but that's everyone. Do you think that it's going to be a pretty smooth ride through the season, or do you think there's going to be a lot of turmoil, a lot of bumps in the roads for this Browns team? I'm somewhere in between. I expect there to be some bumps in the road. If this were the second year of this group, I would be more along the lines with you, but there are a lot of moving pieces here for this Browns team. You have a new head coach. You have a new offensive coordinator. You have a new special teams coordinator. You have a new defensive coordinator. You have new position coaches. You have new star players. You have a new star wide receiver, a new star running back. Your star quarterback is only in his second year and he's learning a new offense. And then you have new star players on defense learning a new defense. There's just a lot of moving parts here for there not to be a bit of a bump in the road early in the season, especially with how tough the first 8 games are for the Browns early in the season. And this is why I have, ever since the schedule has came out, predicted the Browns probably are going to kind of limp into that bye week. Probably not with a record that we wanted or expected. I would say it'd be pretty close to 500 is what I would guess, because they have all those moving pieces that they need to get over. And with the new collective bargaining, and with this collective bargaining agreement, we know that, teams have complained that they don't really have enough time to practice and get things together. And that's a normal situation. So with the Browns situation, you just have to expect that it's going to take a little bit longer to put everything together, which is fine. If this team puts it together late in the season, that's when you want to get momentum. That's closer to the postseason, and you want to be the team that's hot come postseason time than the team that's hot to start the season. So yeah, I do think they're going to be bumped to the road, but I don't think that's going to be the end of the world or anything. The next question is from Giants Nation, who says, "What's up, bro? Do you think Carson Wentz will hold up for the season, or be injury prone QB for the..." Come on, man. You got to be nice to these Eagle fans. I know you're their rival, but you can't just taunt them like this every time, Mr. Giants Nation. That's not right. But do I think Carson Wentz is going to hold up for a whole season? No, because Carson Wentz has rarely held up for a whole season. Go back to North Dakota State. He did not hold up for a whole season. I know he played the national championship game, but hey, I watched North Dakota State that year. I was a student at YSU. I watched them. He did not play a lot of those games. And that is 3 out of the 4 seasons he's played since then. He has been injured for a part of the year, or at least had a season-ending injury. So no, I don't think Carson Wentz is going to put together a healthy year, and I won't believe it until he does it. Because until then, I have no reason to believe that Carson Wentz is going to put a healthy year together, because all he's been since he's walked into the league is injury prone. And again, he does have MVP potential, but right now he's teetering really close on the line of becoming the next Sam Bradford if he cannot stay healthy for another year. The next question is from Super D, biggest fan, who says, "What do you think of Taki and Mack Wilson? Could they be Pro Bowlers in their career?" I don't necessarily see Pro Bowls in their career. I mean, if there's anybody, I would think it's Taki because he has the higher ceiling. But I do think these two could become very, very good players, very solid players. And I think if you're a Browns fan, I know it's sexy to want those Pro Bowls and to want those all NFL first team guys, but hey, if you have a couple of really good linebackers, it means you're going to be able to keep them long term, because they're not going to demand the highest number in the market. And I think that's what Sione Taki and Mack Wilson will become, are 2 very good linebackers that the Browns will be able to retain on a relatively reasonable salary, because they aren't necessarily star players. But yeah, I like both of them. I think they're going to have decent NFL careers, especially Mack Wilson. I think Mack Wilson is a 12-year guy. But yeah, I think they can become good players. I don't know about Pro Bowl. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this episode of Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed my rant about those training camp scalpers. And let me know what your opinion is about those training camp scalpers. Do you think it's justified? Do you think it's only justified when it's for a small amount, maybe $5 or $10? Or do you think that any selling of those tickets is just wrong? Or are you like me and vehemently hate anybody who is deciding to exploit the system for people who, just want to go and take their kids and see the players up close because they can't normally go on the weekend. But that is it. I don't want to jump into another rant. Thank you guys for watching. If you like what you saw here, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ding that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload. And I upload 3 times a week, and it might become more when the season starts. Also, if you have a buck or two to spare, please consider joining my Patreon, where you can have your name added to the bottom of this ticker. But that is it for this week's episode. Thank you for watching. Have a good day and have a great night.